everybody. It's the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition. Playing a little pitch and catch with my nephew, Caleb.
Hey, guys.
He's the next Jerry Rice. Want to show him?
Yeah,
Let's
do
go.
it.
You're going to love this. Ready, set, go! Let's start the show. Yeah! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bodradio.fm. This is the NFL pre-draft edition of the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. So today, we're going to take, as we're getting ever so close to the NFL draft to be held in Green Bay, Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. It's going to be great. April 24th. We're a few weeks away from that as we're into April, and we're all over April Fools. Now, I don't know if anybody played any April Fools jokes on you or not. Hopefully, you weren't fooled on a level of like, I don't think we can fix this. But anyway, it's good to see you guys. We're going to break down. We're going to be joined later on in the show by Aaron Too Tall Moore, former college football standout, who's going to join us a little bit later on in the show. And before we get started, we lost a great actor today, Val Kilmer, at the age of 65 to throat cancer. I don't know if you've ever seen Top Gun, which you probably have. That's probably a role that he's most known for. Tombstone as Doc Holliday, my personal favorite. I've never seen a role played that well of a cowboy character, particularly a villain / hero, as well as Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday in Tombstone. And he did make a cameo appearance in Top Gun Maverick. He's been struggling with throat cancer for the past 10 years. I think he was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014. He put up a really strong fight. But he's also known for being Batman. He's been in Willow. He's been in a lot of really good films. A great actor we lost today at the age of 65. Happy trails to a great actor, Val Kilmer. We're going to talk about some NFL action now. And that, now I'm not going to talk about that dumb thing. We'll get to that dumb thing later on in the show. It seems like the only thing people can talk about is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's dominating. I would say he's pretty much dominating the headlines right now. Now, recently, Aaron Rodgers was seen working out with DK Metcalf out in SoCal. That would be the cool way of saying Southern California. That's how they are out there. Anyway, that being said, he was spotted at a workout. I think it was at, I don't know, the university, if it was at Stanford or he went to school at Cal. From what I understand, DK has a crib out there. Aaron's got a crib out there. So they coincidentally met at the stadium. Are you DK? Are you Aaron? You want to throw? I don't think it went down like that. But they were throwing, and there were photographs being taken of the two. And I don't think that was a coincidence. Are we ready to stop playing with this and expect Rodgers to sign with the Steelers? And can we please stop it with Mason Rudolph? No one in their right mind is going to go out into the new season with Mason Rudolph as a quarterback. Stop playing around. Stop playing with us all. It's starting to look. Oh, and then Skylar Thompson is backing him up. Oh, Skylar Thompson. Anyway, and no disrespect to those guys. They're in the NFL. I'm a guy that's doing a podcast that enjoys Doritos. I mean, what do I know? I don't know. But that being said, Aaron Rodgers is getting close to signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let's be real here. You've got DK Metcalf on one side. You've got George Pickens on the other. You've got a really good defense. And your running game is nothing to, sneeze at. So you put Aaron Rodgers in there, you might actually have a shot to do something. I mean, Justin Fields had a winning record at 4-2. And then Russell Wilson comes in. Now, he did lose the last 6 games of the season, but they ended up with 10 wins. And in the playoffs, I think Aaron could do a little bit better than both of those guys. And they didn't have DK Metcalf on top of that. I think the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers would be a great marriage. And I think the Steelers would be an immediate threat to go to the Super Bowl. Now, me being a Packer fan, I'm not really thrilled about any of it. I wish he never left Green Bay. But he's a diva. He's hard to manage. That's what people say. So we'll see what's happening with that. Now, the tush push has been tabled by Roger Goodell as being something that they may consider. The Green Bay Packers, my team, I wish they hadn't done this, but they said, hey, they need to outlaw the tush push. And 16 other NFL teams agree with the Green Bay Packers. So rather than coming to a conclusion, the NFL, headed again by Commissioner Roger Goodell, decided to table the issue for now, meaning they might actually outlaw the tush push. And I'm thinking to myself, just stop it. I mean, it's 11 on 11. Stop being a baby. Just stop it. They got 8. I don't know how many guys they got lined up on the other side. You get the same amount of guys line up, and just it's mano a mano, me against you. Okay? And Vince Lombardi, the former head coach of the Green Bay Packers, would be very embarrassed about this complaint. He would love it. Oh, really? You want to really try to overpower me? Come on, let's go. He would roll his sleeves up and go bare knuckles. Let's do this. So anyway, I don't think it's a problem with the tush push. I don't see it as a problem at all. Just stop it. Keep the Eagles from getting in a position to use it. Do something about it. Stop being a baby. So anyway, I don't know what your take is on the tush push. I am surprised that 16 other teams in the NFL, agree with the Packers that this needs to be outlawed. And so we'll see what happens with that. Next topic of conversation, Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys. Here's a question for consideration. Would Micah Parsons be making a mistake to return to Dallas? You remember the TV show Dallas? And anyway, I'm not going to go there with that. But the Cowboys, I don't know if I want to go back. I hear the Atlanta Falcons are out there trying to make a deal with him. And I might be like DeMarcus Lawrence if I'm Micah Parsons. Somebody get me out of here. I'll talk with anybody. He's a highly valued commodity. Anybody would pay him what he's worth and more to be on their team. And then Jerry Jones is making the matter worse by saying things like, I don't mean to demean Micah's agent, but I don't know him. Micah can come out to the Star. That's what they call his little suite or wherever his little ranch is out there. He calls it the Star. Anyway, we'll work it out. Me and Micah, we'll work it out. If I'm Micah Parsons, I'm trying to talk to another team. You see, here's a problem with the Cowboys, and I've said this many times before. They have now the same problem that the Washington Commanders used to have with owner Dan Snyder. And I said it for the longest time. I said, as soon as Dan Snyder is removed, because you can't fire the owner, there's nothing you can do. Unless he's removed somehow, some way, they're never going to win. Well, Dan Snyder, being Dan Snyder, got himself in trouble, womanizing around the office and some other things. And all the owners in the NFL decided that they would remove Dan Snyder as owner of the Washington Commanders. So now they have new ownership, and guess what? They're winning. They were one game away from the Super Bowl last year. They've always had talent in Washington. Bad leadership. Well, that's what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. And the years removed from Jimmy Johnson, and I'll give Barry Switzer a little bit of credit, but that was Jimmy's team. They haven't really done anything. They've had good teams, but no championships to speak of. So, would Micah Parsons be better off just leaving and just signing a major contract with another team? I think so. Excuse me. Stephon Diggs, who was with Josh Allen, and he could get along with Josh. Now, I'll go back a little bit further. He was with the Minnesota Vikings, and he couldn't get along with Kirk Cousins or wherever. I don't know what was going on. Then he went to Buffalo, and he and Josh couldn't get along. Then he goes to Houston and gets with CJ Stroud. Is there something now? He's a New England Patriot. Drake May will be throwing Stephon the ball now. So my question is there something more to Stephon Diggs than meets the eye? I mean, that's 4 teams I just named. Okay, and if I'm Houston, I'm like, as soon as Stephon's healthy, we're having him back. Got Tank Dell. I'm keeping Stephon Diggs. So, being that management is management, and I'm just a guy doing a podcast that loves Doritos, there's got to be more going on than meets the eye. Like, Stephon Diggs has a problem getting along with teammates and management. And I named the teams already. I'll name them one more time. He started out in Minnesota. Had a great run there. Ends up in Buffalo. Had a great run there. Ends up in Houston. Was on his way to having a great run in Houston and tore his ACL. And now he's going to be in New England. And my question now is, now that he's in New England, is he now in the Siberia of the NFL? Because the Patriots ain't winning nothing. And Drake may look okay. That's not a good football team. You're going to need 3 Stephon Diggs to make that thing work. Anyway, surprising to see that happen to him. Let's go to the Washington Commanders, the team that I was just talking about. The Commanders are loaded. Okay, you got Terry McLaughlin. You've got the tight end. I forget his name. He came over from the Eagles. I can't remember his name. Zach Ertz. That's it. You just picked up Deebo Samuels. They've got 2 or 3 other, money ball receivers, names of which I can't call right now, but they're money. Have the Washington Commanders, love to hear your thoughts out there, folks, assembled the best receiving core in the NFL. Because I just told you, they were one game. They were one game away from the Super Bowl last year. And I don't care about no tush push. If the Commanders didn't give the ball they gave the ball away 3 times. They put the ball on the ground 3 times. You're going to lose to anybody, particularly in a postseason game. You're going to lose that ball. So I just think the Commanders have to be the favorite to come in and win the Super Bowl next year. At least get there. Because I'm not going to count the Chiefs out entirely. It's like that Kansas City Chief team that played against the Eagles. I'm not sure I recognize those guys. It's like, can we get this fixed? And we look at Travis Kelce, and that little girl Taylor Swift has got him so tired he can barely stand up on Sunday. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's go to the Philadelphia Eagles for a headline. I was just talking about the tush push, and the Commanders may be overtaking them. They traded, and this is kind of an insignificant fact, but at the same time, it's interesting. They traded Kenny Pickett to the Cleveland Browns for a 2025 fifth-round pick and backup Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They call him DTR. I've never known a backup that earns that type of acronym nickname for being a backup. They call him DTR. Okay. Do the Eagles realize that Saquon Barkley is the only reason they have a ring? Do they understand that? And it's like, guys, you don't need to make any moves here at QB1. Jalen Hurts is your guy. Kenny Pickett can come in and you can win, and Tanner Lockett, I don't know what's name, can come in and win. You know what? Because you got Saquon Barkley. He's a problem. You've got the number one defense in the NFL. You don't have any reason to be moving or shuffling quarterbacks around. So I don't think the Eagles realize that, and they need to wake up. But it doesn't matter what they realize. They've got Saquon Barkley, and I think they're going to be the team to beat going forward. We'll switch gears. Should we expect a sophomore jinx from Bo Nix in Denver, or are the Broncos becoming a real threat to the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, I got to be honest with you. I didn't expect Bo Nix to do what he did. And Sean Payton deserves a ton of credit after the way he treated Russell Wilson. I'm thinking, yeah, dude, I hope you lose every game. But he didn't. He not only did not lose every game, they got to the playoffs with a rookie I didn't think would be any better than Zach Wilson. So, Bo Nix and the Broncos, are they a real threat? I got to see that again. You got to run that back for me as a fan. I need to see that again. If I saw what I saw, the Broncos are a real threat to the Chiefs. Like, no sophomore jinx, real talk. Denver's on the come up. The way the Chiefs played in the Super Bowl, and as tired as Travis Kelce was, like I said, he's been chasing that little girl around, Taylor Swift, for the last 9-10 months. He can barely stand up on Sundays. He's so tired. And then they can't protect Patrick Mahomes, and their running game is bad. I think the Chiefs just signed Elijah Cunningham, I think, today. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco was injured most of the year, and that could bode to mean that he may not, they don't expect him to be healthy next year because he just signed another running back. So the Chiefs, they may have some issues, and they may want to watch their back because here come the Broncos. Would the Titans be making a mistake in passing on Cam Ward in the upcoming draft and signing Kirk Cousins? Well, I don't think they would. Leave Kirk Cousins alone. Let him back up Michael Penix in Atlanta. That's where he needs to be. He's old, 35, 36 years of age, coming off an ACL tear, who really did not look good last year. And they gave him every chance. Well, I mean, after all, he's not Aaron Rodgers. Good quarterback. But I would go with the young buck Cam Ward if I'm Tennessee, and I'm throwing all my chips in with that gun. You remember what Cam Ward did in Miami. He had arguably the worst defense in college football last year. And they still won 10 games. And they were still in the ACC championship. And so Cam Ward, and that was all Cam Ward. Make no mistake about it. That was all Cam Ward. You take him off that team, they win 5 games. So I'm looking at, and I understand the college game is not the NFL game. I get that. But let's just understand. The kid's got massive game. And the Titans don't have anybody but Will, I can't think of the young man's name. He plays like the comedian Will Ferrell, but I don't know what his last name is. He's not your guy, is what I'm saying. So I would, if I'm the Titans, and I'm getting Cam Ward right out of the gate, and let's see what we can do with this young man. Kirk Cousins can stay where he is in Atlanta. The dumbest move, love to hear your response to this out there, folks. What is the dumbest move ever made in NFL history? Let's go all the way back to 1998, I think it was, or 7, maybe 6. The Minnesota Vikings, I'm sorry, it's not even that far back. It was 1992 or 1. The Minnesota Vikings traded 8 players and the next 3 number 1 draft picks for one man, Herschel Walker. The Cowboys in that season had won one game. They were 1-15. The owner of the Minnesota Vikings, who should have been removed by the other NFL owners the moment he made this decision, decided that Herschel Walker was worth all of that property, if you will, for a championship. Was that the dumbest move ever made? Well, the Cowboys got 3 Super Bowls out of that. They went from a horrible team to a Super Bowl winning team. Or was it the Giants not re-signing Saquon Barkley? Hold on, New York. You're telling me you're going to let the best running back in the NFL walk out that door and ask Daniel Jones to sign a $42 million contract, believing that Daniel Jones is really Danny Dimes? Yeah, he's worth about 9 dimes. Literal dimes, like he ain't worth $1. And I don't know what you guys think about that, but 2 dumb decisions. 2 really monumentally dumb decisions. And Daniel Jones is a decent quarterback. He is by no means an elite quarterback. He's not the kind of guy you can rest your franchise on, especially when you've got Saquon Barkley. You mean you're going to make me choose? You didn't even have to choose. You just could have given Saquon a huge contract, and then you could have said, now, Daniel, this is what we're going to give you. It's not going to be $42 million. I might give you half of that. Or we're going to franchise tag you. And if Daniel goes, oh, well, I'm offended. I'm appalled. I'm not going to sign it. Well, you just go right ahead and go down there to the DeVito Pizza Shop and enjoy yourself and let us know when you want to talk to her. That's it. I could see that. And I got to say to you, I'm a guy running a podcast right now that loves a bag of Doritos. I knew that. The rest of America knew that. And the guys making the big bucks, they didn't know that. It's disgusting. I got to change topics before I get sick. All right. Divisional predictions. And we'll walk them all down. We'll look at the AFC, start off with the American Football Conference, and just try to break it down from that. I was talking about the AFC West. And you know, when you look at the division, it's got to be the Chiefs. Again, I do believe that the Broncos and Chargers both will be on Kansas City's heels, based on what I saw in the Super Bowl. The Raiders are a work in process, but they're coming. Pete Carroll is their head coach. They just picked up Geno Smith from Seattle. They just re-signed their edge rusher. I can't think of his name. He's one of the best in the league. They're not going to make a run for the title, but they're going to be on the come up. Maybe win 8 or 9 games, heading in the right direction. If you look at the AFC East, Bills, Jets, Patriots, Dolphins. It's Buffalo's division. The Jets, terrible. Patriots, terrible. Dolphins, soft. I think that Aaron Glenn could make some moves there in New York, though. He's a heck of a coach, and I think he could do some things with Justin Fields, who played well when he was in Pittsburgh. He had a 4-2 record, and the Jets got rid of Aaron Rodgers. The best thing that Aaron Glenn did when he showed up was say, guys, get Aaron Rodgers out of here. He's a distraction. I can't think. We have business to attend to, not a sideshow. And they got rid of him. They cut him. Went out and got Justin Fields. They've got a very good defense, especially when the atmosphere is not dysfunctional. And they've got some receivers. So I like it. And we know what Aaron Glenn can do. We watched him in Detroit with the defense. And they've got pieces on their defensive side of the ball. So I'm not ready to write the Jets off. Like they could maybe do a little bit of business this year, but they got to prove it on the field, obviously, when you're talking about the Buffalo Bills. But I think they're going to be a better team with Aaron Glenn. As I said before, the Patriots are the new Siberia of the NFL. You don't want to go there. And the Dolphins are good, but they're soft. They don't like getting dirty and getting in back alley brawls and fisticuffs. They're not that kind of team. Got a lot of talent. They don't like to fight. So I'm not counting on them. Let's look at the AFC South, which is probably the weakest division in football. But you've got the Houston Texans, who are probably one of the better teams in football in that division. So I'm looking at, okay, what are the possibilities here? And I think that the Texans are going to win this division. I do like the Colts. I just think that they got to do something with Anthony Richardson. Now I was just talking about Danny Dimes. Okay, they picked up Danny Dimes, and I do think he's a decent quarterback. He's not the guy to hang your franchise on, but the Colts, they have pieces, and it's put up or shut up time for Anthony Richardson. Either he goes out there and gets the job done, or I'm handing the keys to Danny Dimes. And I'm saying to Danny, I need you to do me a favor now, buddy. Don't wreck this car. This is a Lamborghini out here that we've got. You got Jonathan Taylor who's going to run the ball for you. We got some nice receivers for you to throw to. Our defense is it's a little iffy, but I don't need you to do anything but hand that ball to Jonathan Taylor. And I don't need you to make any dumb mistakes. Because one of the things that Anthony Richardson did out of fear, you could see the fear on Anthony Richardson's face when he was in the game. He didn't know, he was hyperventilating out there. The guy is a monumental talent. And he just didn't know what he was doing. Think about, in his defense, he's only had 1 year as a starting quarterback in major college football at the University of Florida. So you go into the NFL with minimal snaps as a starter from one league to the next. Like, this is the NFL. And I want to say he made some comments about, it's just football's football. Well, he found out football isn't just football. You need to know what you're doing. So anyway, the Colts have potential. The Jags, I'm about to say that Trevor Lawrence, if they don't get it done this year, he's a bust. He comes out of Clemson, wins 2 national championships, and then you get into the NFL, and to his defense, he had to deal with Urban Meyer. That was a joke. And then they brought in another coach, Doug Peterson, for 2 years, and they just fired Doug. Now he's got a third coach that he's going to have to learn from. So it's not fair to Trevor Lawrence. So I'm not going to pile on him. But the Jags, they don't look good. And the Titans are starting from scratch. Here they are looking at getting a rookie to take over their team, who might be someone that can get them to where they want to eventually, but certainly not now. Let's go to the AFC North. We're looking at the Cleveland Browns, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Ravens. This is the Ravens division. However, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, man, won't that be fun. Man, won't that be fun. Because it would come down literally to those two. And I think that Aaron Rodgers would have the ability to get Pittsburgh to a Super Bowl, being that they have the talent that they have on that team already. Again, I mean, they've got DK Metcalf and George Pickens on both sides. And a pretty darn good defense with TJ Watt and company. You add Aaron Rodgers to that? Might be a problem for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And I love Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. He deserves a Super Bowl. But he might have a problem if Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh. But he's 41 years old, Aaron Rodgers. So a lot remains to be seen about that. Plus, he's playing with the Steelers. He's like, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. And then the Bengals, they can't seem to stop a nosebleed. Joe Burrow went out and had T. Higgins and Jamar Chase get huge contracts, leaving very little for the defensive side of the ball. So you can score 40 points and lose 41-40. They did that with regularity last year, getting into dogfights with Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, Chargers, all elite teams in the AFC. Losing by 2 points, 3 points, 38-35. So I don't know what the Bengals are doing. You got to be able to stop people in this league, and they don't do a very good job of that. So I don't know, what to think of it or make of that. So, and Cleveland, of course, I mean, what are we really talking about? They don't know what they're doing, and they just picked up Kenny Pickett from the Eagles. No, Cleveland, I feel so bad for you, Cleveland. And that was the other monumental, dumbest mistakes that I put up earlier. I mentioned the Vikings dealing 8 players and 3 first-round draft picks for Herschel Walker. Monumentally stupid trade back in 1991, I believe it was, or 2. And then the Giants not re-signing Saquon Barkley. And then the Cleveland Browns signing Deshaun Watson for $230 million. Here's a guy that's been charged by some 18, 19, 25 women for misconduct during massage sessions. Now, if you told me that 2 or 3, that was all, and they probably, made it out to be something that it wasn't, that might be believable. 18, 20? Deshaun, you're not a very good guy. And then the Cleveland Browns, of all people, go out and sign the guy, and he's a bust. It wasn't anything close to what they thought it would be when he was at the top of his game in Houston. Then he goes out and tears his ACL last year. So the fact that the Browns have a chance to do anything this season, the answer would be no. They don't have a chance. Let's switch over to the NFC. And we'll start out with the NFC West. Excuse me. And, we're talking about, matter of fact, what I'm going to do before we even continue with that, take a little break, and we'll come right back.
The Maurice Brown Show, breaking down the 4 walls. Catch actor-comedian Maurice Brown as he hosts a panel of comedians leading a lost and dying world to the light of Christ with humor and spiritual insight.
I think about, going up on the mountain to go kill his son, and I'm like, he had to be a teenager because I want to kill my teenager.
So this was a Christian spoken word event?
My husband has a brother.
And you dropped the N-word?
Would have been choosing our husbands in a whole different way. If you go, then I got him.
Dennis, what do you think, buddy?
What's the question?
Wait a minute, Leland. Hold on, dude.
If we always build our careers on not saying what's offensive to some, to the weaker, then we will always be unstable in our comedy career.
There was like a giggle gospel, and you were going to laugh the Holy Spirit into your life.
I didn't know anything about salvation as a kid, so I thought it was funny.
There's something wrong with your ashy camera lens.
I'm out of here. I'm gone.
Yeah.
You got an ashy camera lens. That's what it is.
And then there was another one where it was barking like a dog.
Leland, come back, Leland, please.
It's a big difference between a man coming to him and a rich young ruler coming to him. That's why we always start with the King James translation.
You don't want to see this running.
Except the one whose faith is weak, without quarreling over disputable matters.
Remember the young men being taken to the restroom to shave if their sideburns were below the ear. Very legalistic. I don't know where they found that in the Bible. That church was in the hood.
In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Woo! Yes, sir. I love it. That was one of them prayers, Dave, where I needed to follow that up with Aretha Franklin.
The Maurice Brown Show, breaking down the 4 walls. Catch it on Facebook, YouTube, and Pulpit TV Live, and the replay on the Creative Motion Network on Roku TV.
So Roku TV and Creative Motion Network, that is a network that I used to be on. I'm no longer on that network. I'm on bogradio.fm, the radio station that you are listening to right now, and also KCHF-TV11.org out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. That was Breaking Down the 4 Walls, a show where comedians get together in a round table, and we just have Bible study. A lot of laughs, but we're having Bible study. And my man there said that church was in the hood. That's one thing I've always wondered about these churches in the hood. If you ever go there in the hood, man, I was going to church one day, and I was in the hood, man. All of a sudden, I turned the corner, and my eyes went. Whoa. It was like a mausoleum. It was like a Taj Mahal. I'm like, this thing's in the hood. So where's all the money in it? I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. How's everybody doing out there? Pretty good? Let's talk football. It's probably a good idea. I was about to talk about the NFC West. And so we got the 49ers, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals. And I have to say that the Rams have to be the favorites in this division this year. I mean, we saw the 49ers self-destruct last year. And they had a problem with Deebo Samuels, who's now a commander. They had problems with Brandon Ayuk, who had squabbles with management, and he got hurt. Christian McCaffrey hurt for much of the season. Trent Williams hurt for much of the season. I don't know if the cannabis that he loves so much and holds so near and dear got him back in the field, but he was hurt a lot. Nothing personal, Trent. Not that there's anything wrong with that, as Jerry Seinfeld would say. Anyway, that being said, a lot of injuries, you can see, and then you look at the quarterback, Brock Purdy. You're looking at Brock Purdy, and you're going, well, he's the dude. He's going to save him. He had a great year the year before. He's a great quarterback. He's elite. He's like Josh Allen. He's like, Lamar Jackson. He's like Joe Burrow. I mean, they'll be okay. They weren't. And I'm not blaming Brock Purdy for their problems, but as far as what I could tell, viewing as a podcaster who loves Doritos, it wasn't faring too well out there. Had some tough games. Couldn't rely on McCaffrey. Couldn't rely on Deebo. There was a game where the 49ers place kicker missed a field goal and almost got into a fight with Deebo Samuels. The place kicker, the placeholder, and the running back. I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? And I mean, it was one problem after another. And with the 49ers, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So I don't know what to think about Frisco. Kyle Shanahan is a master play caller. We all know that. We talk about it ad infinitum. But I don't know about the 49ers. I'm going to watch and see. Do I think they're capable of retaking the division? I do. But I'm going to go with the Rams right now. I look at the Seahawks, and they just gave up. You know what? Let's just put up this white flag. That thing's whipping in the wind. That white flag is whipping in the wind. We give up. We surrender. I mean, you give up Geno Smith. You lose Tyler Lockett. You lose DK Metcalf. And you go inside Sam Darnold, who fell on his face the last two games of the season. I mean, there's no Jordan Addison or Justin Jefferson in Seattle. Kevin O'Connell's not calling plays for Sam Darnold in Seattle. They're out. The Cardinals, they're an interesting subject. Now, they just signed Jacoby Brissett. They just picked him up. And I go, all right, this could be an interesting little matchup right here. Because Kyler Murray is an up-and-down quarterback. When he's feeling good and he's on his game, he's as good as there is in the NFL. He's like a water bug out there. You can't catch him. He's all over the place. He buys his on time. He finds open guys. He runs for first downs. He's doing everything. When he's playing like that, it's awful tough. Anybody to beat Arizona. But he doesn't play like that Sunday to Sunday. They say he doesn't study the playbook, for one. So you get an F there. You get an F in school. And because he thinks he's so good, he doesn't have to study the playbook. It's the NFL. You're not in high school and you're not in college where you can wing it. If you don't know what you're doing in the NFL, you'll be working at Target. Anyway, so you have that. The defense isn't bad. Oh, and another thing about Kyler. If things aren't going his way, he starts pouting. You remember the kid when we were growing up? If he didn't get his way, he'd take his football and go home. That's Kyler Murray. So I said all that to say, if he comes in with his head screwed on right and ready to take care of business, because he's a terrific talent, and their defense plays up to their capabilities, 12-13 in the league, good enough with a good offense to win in the NFL. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., who they were somewhat disappointed with. Give the kid another opportunity. They could be a problem. But I'm not ready to declare anything great about Arizona at this point. This division, in my mind, goes to the Rams. The NFC South, Bucs, Falcons, Saints, Panthers. So I'm looking at this thing, and I'm going to have to say Baker Mayfield has earned my respect. I think, first of all, it's not a good division. So I'm not really saying a ton here. But he's earned enough respect from me to say they'll probably win the division again. And he had some close calls last year against some Titan teams. Like, they weren't like skull drugged by anybody. They got into some dogfights with Detroit. They got into a dogfight with the Commanders, actually beat the Commanders earlier in the season. Got into a dogfight with the Eagles. I mean, they're good. They're a scrappy team. They'll win that division. The Falcons with Michael Penix is it's going to be, that's a project. Obviously, you want to go with him over Cousins, but he's still a guy that's kind of green. He's a monumental talent with his arm strength. So you just kind of go, maybe the Falcons can do something. The Saints, I'm not counting on the Saints to do anything. Their quarterback, I can't even remember his name, came from, Derek Carr. Other than his Michael Jackson impressions, I'm not impressed. He does good at Michael Jackson. He ain't bad. That was a pretty good Michael Jackson, Derek. You just need to learn how to throw touchdowns consistently. So I'm not looking at the Saints. And the Panthers, no. I do see there's improvement with Bryce Young. They're coming along. Maybe there's some hope there. But this division, as far as I'm concerned, belongs to the Bucs. The NFC East. Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Giants. So you're looking at, oh man, this division right here is between the Commanders and the Eagles. Okay. I something in my gut is telling me it's the Commanders. It's something about the Washington Commanders you just can't deny. I mean, they got everything going for them. And it's hard because the Eagles are so doggone good. I'm going to go with the Commanders. I think they're going to win their division, and I think they're going to make a run at the Super Bowl. It's not fair. I mean, the Eagles are the defending champions, so they deserve what defending champions deserve, and you go ahead and give it to Philly. But I do believe in the Commanders, and I think they can get them. The Cowboys, they don't know what they're doing. They just simply don't know what they're doing. You know, they've got all that talent on that roster, and they just keep botching. I think what really happened to Dallas is that when the Green Bay Packers rolled up into that joint 2 years ago in the first round of the playoffs and just rearranged their furniture. So I think the sofa should go over here. I think the clock in the wall is in the wrong place. I think it needs to go over there. And this wall is all wrong. It's wrong color. I want the wall blue. They rearranged everything in their house. I don't think the Cowboys ever got over that. Excuse me. I just don't think they ever got it. It's like kind of been in their head. I mean, let's understand something. They were 12-4 going into the playoffs. So this playoff hangover hasn't lifted off of them because of the way they played last year. I mean, the Saints rolled in there. Derek Carr, second game of the year, went in there and whacked them like the Packers. The Saints went in there and whacked them like the Packers did. That's where he started doing the Michael Jackson there. He started doing the moonwalk and the kicks and woo. I was like, whoa, that's a pretty good Michael Jackson, Derek. But Other teams followed suit and went in there and whacked the Cowboys pretty good, and they had a bad year. They didn't make playoffs. So I think that their situation is in their head, and they got to get the stuff out of their head. Otherwise, they're not going to win. So that remains to be seen if they can get it out of their head. They have talent. They have Dak Prescott. All they have to do is sign Micah Parsons. They have a good defense. They have a lot of good things. You've got to see if they can get out of their own head. Let's look at the G-men, or should we? I mean, why bother? But we'll do it anyway for entertainment's sake. I mentioned Danny Dimes left for greener pastures. And so you look at who they have. They got Danny DeVito. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the guy that played in the movie Taxi and in the Jimmy John's commercials. Tommy DeVito. Yeah. He's your third string guy. You got Jameis Winston, who just signed, and you got Russell Wilson on a very, very bad team. I know. Can we talk about something else, Maurice? Yeah, we can. Let's go to the NFC North. We've got the Packers, the Bears, the Vikings, and the Lions. My team in this division, Green Bay. No, they're not going to win the division. I'm going to give it to the Lions again. The Lions will win this division again. And I think the Packers and the Vikings will be on Detroit's heels. I'm sorry. The Vikings, I'm not so sure about if they can get J.J. McCarthy to play at the level Sam Darnold did last year because of the fact that he's an unproven rookie. We would call this his redshirt season in his second year because he missed this entire first year with an ACL tear. So that's a question mark. It makes you wonder why the Vikings didn't re-sign Sam Darnold just in case. It's like, well, I think we're going to go with the young rookie. But you could give Sam $30 million. Can you match what Seattle gave him? But they didn't do that, so I don't know. And then the Bears, who just picked up the offensive coordinator from the Lions. And I can't remember his name. But he had a great run as the OC in Detroit. And he's focused on shoring up the offensive line, which is what Caleb Williams' big problem was last year. Excuse me. That was his big problem last year, and he never had time back there. And now with better protection, they have weapons on offense. They have a good defense. The Bears could be a problem. So after all that being said, I got Detroit winning this division. I've got Detroit winning this division without a doubt. I think Green Bay will be on their heels. They will definitely be on their heels, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. We are going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up the show. You're watching and listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bogradio.fm. Actually, I'm going to leave you with a little comedy break. And this is my good comedy friend, Jay Stevens.
You know, I'm getting older, man. You know, as you get older, you know, things change as you get older. You know, things, and you start thinking about back in the day stuff, like I said earlier, but your body changes and just your appreciation of things change. And you do stuff to let you know that you have older people tendencies. Like even young people, you have older people tendencies. And I'm going to tell you a few things to let you know you have older people tendencies. If you put your pajamas on and the sun is still up outside, older people tendencies right there. And you know what's crazy about that? You made your mind up when you was at work. You get off at 4. It was like 10:30. You was like, yep. It's going to be a flannel night as soon as I get home. Just you know, it's just, and even comfort when you get older. Like most men, you know, we work hard and you come home, you kick them boots off, boom, you're like, oh, relief. Yes. Oh, it feels so good. Ladies, y'all relief is completely different. Completely different relief. You walk in the house and pop your bra. Oh, Lord. Yes. You can unlock the door and pop it at the same time. Like, yes, he is real. Just different relief. Look at the man like, yeah, I still can't get it off that fast. Just getting older, man. Just getting older. The stuff you do when you get older, you know. Even your appreciation of gifts change. Like most men in here, when we was 10 years old, if our mom bought us some underwear for our birthday, we was mad. At 10, you are the worst mother in the world. Right? At 10, you couldn't buy me a controller or underwear? You was mad. Sir, open up underwear now for your birthday. You like, I knew you loved me. Who's the best wife ever? Hey, don't mess around, open underwear, socks, and undershirt. You like, this father of the year stuff right here, man. Because ladies, y'all know men don't buy underwear as often as we should. No. He first bought them underwear, they was tighty whities. He'd have had them so long, now they more like Lucy Lavenders. Look at my older gentleman, like, he telling the truth. Every time you wash him, you be like, you plan on throwing these away? He like, nope. They broke in real nice right there. Somebody got them on tonight. Just getting older, man. Getting older. And then as you get older, like, you change positions. You change positions from when you were a kid. You know, and this happened to me years back when my kids was younger. We all had that grumpy old man on our street. Remember him? Every time the ball went in his yard, he'd bust out the door. God, I hate kids. Oh, I hate kids. Get out of my grass. Go down the street and play. We'd be like, we hate you too. When are you going to die? Mad because the ball went in this yard. You know what I'm saying? We don't know nothing about grass. I mean, I don't care about your grass, man. Don't step on my grass. Shut up. Sir, you look like that guy right there. You look like the guy. Sir, you look like the guy. Back when you were kids, you know, you don't care about no lawn. But like I said, life goes around. Now I have a lawn. And I've had one for 20 years. And yeah, the ball would go in the yard. I'll bust out the door. God, I hate kids, man. Oh, get out of my grass. Go down the street and play. And they talk back too. But Dad, we live here.
Jay Stevens out of Ohio on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. This is the NFL pre-draft edition. Good morning, everyone. It's great to chill and hang out with you today. Want to let everybody know I did a movie. I wrote and directed a short film last summer in Orlando, and it's called The Unknown Kingdom. Well, I garnered a nomination for that short film for most inspirational. And there is a picture right there, one of the scenes where my wife and I were in. Official nominee, Unknown Kingdom, for 2025 at the International Christian Film Festival. A short film, May 3rd, Orlando, Florida, at the Doubletree Hotel at SeaWorld. And all the glory to Christ for that nomination. My first film, the International Christian Film Festival, coming up this month, as a matter of fact, April 28th through May 3rd. And just go to the International Christian Film and Music Festival.com or .org, one of the two, and sign up, attend. Some of the top faith-based actors and producers, entertainers, screenwriters, comedians, you name it. They'll all be there. It'll be a glorious week of faith-filled entertainment and uplifting, Christ-honoring entertainment. So go to the website, check it out. If you have not gotten your tickets, there's still time to get a seat and some VIP passes as well. Again, that's April 28th through May 3rd. I'm sorry, April 30th through May 3rd in Orlando, Florida. You have to give me the white hairs are starting to get to me a little bit. The whiskers. It's the whiskers. Anyway, Guys, this has been a great show. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Maybe we'll be here next week or the week after. I'll probably be off a couple of weeks, but we'll be back soon enough and talk more NFL action. Until then, may the peace of Jesus Christ be with you and your families. God bless.